Mark, it's great to see you. Maybe you start big picture, Mark. Walk us through the news. What's changing? Why is it so important for borrowers?
Well, during the pandemic and for 12 months afterwards, borrowers didn't have to make payments on their student loans, and there was no wage garnishment or treasury offset of income tax refunds or Social Security benefits. And now that almost a year has passed since the restart of repayment, uh, borrowers who are in default on their student loans are going to start seeing these enforced collection methods taking money out of their paycheck.
Can we quantify this, Mark? How many Americans are we talking about here that could potentially have their wages garnished?
Nearly 10 million. There are 3.4 million who have newly entered default on their student loans, and the rest have been already in default on the direct loan program and FFEL loan program on their student loans.
Who could have their wages garnished, Mark, and who cannot? What are the definitions, the lines here?
Well, if you have defaulted on your federal student loans, which means 270 days of non-payment, your loan is in default and enforced collections can occur. Normally, they would have a 30-day notice before the wage garnishment can occur, and you can ask for a hearing if you have experiencing financial hardship. The main categories of people who can't have their loans and wage garnishment occur are it's just temporary. If you lost your job involuntarily, you can't have your wages garnished during the first 12 months of employment in a new job. If you I have your loans discharged, say for a total and permanent disability, then your loans cannot be your wages cannot be garnished. And if you and there are a variety of other relatively esoteric, like if you file for bankruptcy, even though student loans are very difficult to discharge in bankruptcy, uh, during the pendency of the bankruptcy hearings, the federal government cannot do enforced collections. And then once it's over, they can resume the wage garnishment.
How much can the government actually take, Mark, when we're talking about garnishing wages?
Okay, so wage garnishment can be up to 15% of the borrower's disposable pay, which is their adjusted gross income minus amounts required by law to be withheld, such as for taxes. And they must be left with at least 30 times the federal minimum wage per week. Since the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, that means they have to be left with at least $217.50 each week.
So let me ask you, Mark. Let's say I'm listening to this. I think, you know what, I could be in the crosshairs here. You know, I could be looking at having my wages garnished. What do I do, Mark? What's the game plan? What are some tips?
Well, so one thing you should do is update your contact information with the federal government on studentaid.gov and with your student loan servicer so that you'll get notices about your student loans. The federal government has to send that notice to the most recent known address. And if you've moved in the interim, you're not going to get that notice. But they can still garnish your wages because they have your Social Security number. You should prepare to reduce your spending to accommodate the wage garnishment. If you haven't yet defaulted, consider switching into an income-driven repayment plan, which will be your most affordable option. Or if you have temporary financial difficulty, you could do the economic hardship deferment or unemployment deferment, which will still exist for now. For new borrowers starting July 1st, those are going away. You also have the option of a general forbearance, and these temporarily suspend your repayment obligation while you're getting back on your feet. I would also suggest that you save the money that will be garnished before the garnishment occurs so that you'll be able to ease your way into a new budget when your paycheck is reduced by up to 15%. And so long as you haven't yet reached the 207 days delinquency, you can avoid wage garnishment by simply bringing your accounts current. It may not be all the way current, but so long as you're less than 270 days late, wage garnishment cannot occur. And then to make it easier to repay your student loans, and you can increase your income by taking a part-time job in the evening and weekends, such as driving for Uber and Lyft, or creating widgets that can be sold on eBay or Etsy. And you can also try to cut back on your spending patterns so that you have more money available to repay
Yep.
your student loans and other financial obligations.
Mark, thank you so much for helping us think through all this. We appreciate it.